have a good ground speed still of 184 knots. True airspeed 171. Indicated airspeed is only 133. So what's the difference there is it calculates the speed as you increase in altitude. The air is thinner, so the PDOT is not as accurate. So then you get into the calculations of the for airplane performance. You actually can break out the aircraft manual, and it has charts where you can plug in the density, altitude, temperature, dew point, and all that. Indicated altitude, pressure altitude, and you calculate that, and it will tell you before you leave the ground what your speed is going to be, how your aircraft is going to perform, how long it's going to take. You can calculate how long it's going to take to become airborne based on the runway conditions and the other items I mentioned, the atmospheric conditions, and that stuff is pretty accurate.
Start to fade, and Yuma's off the left wing now, the sunniest town they've made. 45 minutes in the air, I'm across the line from Imperial to Yuma. The desert's doing fine, the DA is humming steady, the fuel gauge is looking good. This is what I built this sim for, flying like I should.
Off to the right, we're closer to the U.S.-Mexican border.
Desert's opening up, a sea of sand and stone. The Gila River cuts a line that's barely overgrown. Yeah, the mountains on the horizon, purple in the haze. Yeah, and I'm learning better ways. V4, V5, 8, the airway east takes me toward Dizzer. Blythe is waiting up ahead, the first stop of the day. But I'm not stopping here. I've got a schedule, got a plan to fly this route from memory and do it like a man. Yeah.
We're in the Yuma area.
1 hour's almost done. Arizona's in the books. Next stop,
Fun fact about Yuma
the desert's got
Yuma
more
is the
looks.
sunniest city on earth. And it's the home of the Marine Corps Air Station Yuma. And that's going to be off on the right somewhere. Okay, so this is turning. I'm going to let it turn. And that what you're seeing now is the Gola River. I'm sorry, not Gola. Gila River. Let's hope we can get a glimpse of the air station. And it don't look like we are. So let me cut over to the left here so that you can see the Gila River. Alright, so on the left you can definitely see that the Gila River that we'll get ready to cross. And we're also coming up on the VOR, uh, another VOR, Bloth, VOR, BLYTHE. That's another one of those land-based navigation aids. And this has some pretty good rendering, so I wasn't quite sure how the rendering. So I recently upgraded this flight sim. Um, may have published the story earlier. I have the it started out with the basic flight sim as a student pilot. I had a just a regular desktop computer, um, mouse, keyboard, and I put on Microsoft Flight Simulator. I think it was basically before 2000. That was Flight Sim 90. It was around 98 or somewhere around that. And it's pretty primitive, but it served its purpose. It was a step up from some stuff that existed earlier. You got a better view of that river now. Yeah, the earlier flight simulators, you would not have been able to do it. I use it pretty much for situational awareness, but flight sims have come a lot further now. Yeah, flight boats, bridges. Unless back then, unless that bridge or intersection that was highly, it was like an iconic bridge, like the Golden Gate Bridge or something like that, you really couldn't tell it much. Highways is harder. Just the graphics. Just think how just think how far we've come in computer technology. The equipment that's sitting in front of me now, it rivals early airlines. So you look at some pictures of some early airlines and some of the stuff they have. It's primitive by today's standards, and even the flight sim that I have is it kind of blows it away. Now, being a VFR pilot, even though I've been inactive for a while, um, I haven't used all the features of this G1000, but it's awesome. The breakdown is the same. I learned to fly on, I refer to them as round gauges. Some people refer to them as steam gauges, but the regular 6-pack, and it has all of that. It has all of that here. I was going to plug this other camera back in, but I don't think I'm going to do that. I believe that caused some problems with the USB connection, so I'm going to leave that disconnected and we'll go with just this one camera. But yeah, it has basically your G1000 suite. You have one on the left and one on the right, and you have your comm stuff in the middle. Just like with the conventional flight sim. Let me put this in a position where it's a good view. And get my pointer in place. I know it's kind of at an angle. So this is your primary flight display, and this is your multi-function display. You have a red button, so if one of these go out, you can press this button and get it to switch. Like if the primary one was to go out, this is the one that you need, the one on the left that's right in front of the pilot. That has all the instrumentation you need to safely fly the airplane. The one on the right, that's a multi-function display. That's the one that's allows you to navigate safely, to navigate the way you're going. As you can see, you have that plane that's, I don't want to, let me put this back here, about right there. So what you have is, yeah, hopefully you can see it. You have some engine instruments. It tells you how we're doing. That's what we looked at earlier, and we knew that we was getting a little warm when I closed those cowl flaps. So I closed the cowl flaps. I opened them again, and we're still operating at a high speed and making some good headway over the ground. Right now it's 183 knots. That's pretty good. So on the left, what we have is the instruments that's equivalent to the six pack. So I'm not teaching flying. For that, I strongly recommend you go, anything that you see in this video, don't go hop in the airplane and trying this here stuff. And again, I'm a VFR pilot, not a flight instructor. The FAA has free documentation. If you go into the FAA website and just FAA.gov, or just Google FAA, and it has terabytes of PDF documents. Basically, anything that the FAA tells you that you have to know to fly safely or to operate in the aviation environment, period. Everything from running at airport markings, if you're that facilities person, or that, to like how to maintaining a hangar, to how to fly an airplane and how to operate the operations department, what they're supposed to do, air traffic controllers, what they're supposed to do. There's free documentation on that. Now, what commercial vendors have done is they've taken that, because there's so much information, they bundled it into a easy to follow and read manual, flight manual, that you can, aeronautical information manual, Federation regulations manual, pilot manual, everything you need. So you want to be a private pilot, you just go buy a manual on how to be a private pilot. But again, that information is free. Now, what I found, you pay for the one from a vendor, of course, but you could follow up with information on the from the FAA that they provide for free, and that's a good way to stay on top of it also. So we passed that VZA VOR that I was telling you about, and now we're coming up on let me get us centered. What I'm doing here is kind of pausing to make sure that I'm staying on top of what we're doing also. Now, that's one of the things, the challenges of a pilot. When you go for your check ride, you're going to have a examiner sitting shoulder to shoulder with you, and they're going to be friendly. Well, most of them are. I had a friendly one. And they're going to conversate with you. They're going to carry on a normal conversation. One of the things they're checking to see is that after you get that pilot's license and you have all your friends and relatives flying along, they're going to have a lot of questions, and it's going to be a lot of distractions. You're trying to fly the airplane, so you're the pilot, co-pilot, flight engineer. You're the flight attendant as well. And so you're responsible for everyone on that airplane. The FAA's focus is more on public safety than pilot. They allow you to solo, so you could go out and you can practice, and you have restrictions placed on you by the flight instructor, and you have someone responsible for making sure that you can fly safely. And so that's someone you can you can share the blame with if something happened, but it's still on you. You are a pilot, a student pilot at that point until you take the written exam, get an endorsement to take a written exam, and then the endorsement to go for the private pilot check ride. And again, that information is available through the FAA. Just go to the FAA site and do a search on how to become a private pilot. So we're coming up on Mohawk, and there's some. Well, we're at the terrain in this area is high. Not a whole lot to see out here, except we are surrounded by restricted areas. Now this is what I was saying. So we came up on this intersection, and it's turning. It has a tendency. It seems like it always turns to left, and then it gets back on course. I'm looking at it. I'm monitoring that on that primary flight display in front of me, so I know that it's getting back on course. I'm looking to see if you have that. Yep. You can see it. You can see the same thing. So the pink tells me it was tracking GPS and its altitude. Yep, 15,000 feet, 15,500 feet. So, fun fact for aviation. One of the tools that are used to help planes avoid flying into each other is a minimum separation. Like even if you totally screw everything up, let's say that flying in the same direction as a instrument pilot, and they're at 15,000 feet, so the VFR always adds 500 feet. So airplanes going in this direction, VFR, IFR, instrument flight rule, they're assigned by ATC at 15,000 feet. So they're trucking along, and they zoom right past me. I'm at 15,500 feet. So if everyone has the altimeter set correctly, like what would normally happen along this route is I would tune in to like approach like Albuquerque or somewhere like that, or the airports, actually the individual airports. But if you're doing flight following, they'll give you this information also. They'll give you information on the altimeter settings for your area, and then you plug that in. You dial that in to change this. Yep, so it's a knob here, the barometer. You dial that knob and you change it, and that would adjust your altitude to a correct one. Now with that being said, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go over here and find us. Where are we? Where are we? We're way up here. Now we just passed Yuma. What else is up here? Now flight sims have line of sight realism. I'm going to tune in to ATIS 128.225, and I'm going to see if it would give me. It's a VHF frequency. Military use VHF and UHF. Some I've been at locations where, like the towers, like this one. Okay, this has VHF. So I'm going to tune in to Yuma Air Facility. It's a military base. 128.225. So I'm going here. COM 128. Oh. Uh-oh. That's not changing again. Yeah, there's something going on with that. I fixed it over here, so I use this knob. Okay, 128. And what did I say? 0.225. Then I flip that over and see if I get ATIS. Might be too far. Here we go. Two 9085. Okay, so I changed this, and you notice two, all right. So I've changed the altimeter. You notice that there's a slight adjustment. That's why it's important, because it is possible that that 500 feet separation I was telling you about. It is possible that if you have your altimeter set wrong, for you to be at the same altitude as that IFR traffic going in your same direction, or vice versa. You're IFR and somebody VFR. So you have that. You have that. So 500 foot separation by doing what I just did. Any airport, you don't need their permission. If it has an ATIS, or even if it doesn't have ATIS, they have some other automated weather systems there at non-tower airports even. You can tune in, dial that altimeter in, and that's going to keep you safe along the way. Keep you accurate, your altimeter accurate along the way. Now, lost my train of thought. I was double checking. I saw us hit that Judith intersection, and it did its little rocking and rolling and back on course. Yep, we're at a pretty high altitude, and this Diamond aircraft has a turbocharged engine, and that really helps that higher altitudes to keep our speed and performance the way it is now. So